Hello, good evening. Good evening and welcome to another tutorial for tonight. Please, if you can hear me, let me know, okay? I just want good evening, Deborah. Good evening. You're watching from Ghana. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Debbie. So, guys, let's start. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to cut a bustier blouse with an inverted hem, okay? So just quickly show you a picture of it and then we're good to go. We're going to start immediately. You can see, so this is what we're learning how to cut today. Thank you so much, all of you that are tuning in. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to drop the back part of this blouse, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, when we finish drafting the back, when we're shaping this, so I have a startup line, so I hope my lines are bold. Thank you so much. Those of you that are already giving me thumbs up, I appreciate. Giving me loves, like, thank you so much, okay? So the next thing we're going to do from this part, we're doing a bustier, a simple bustier. So from this point, I'm going to mark 10 inches for my bust point and then 13 inches for my under bust. And then I'll mark 16 inches for my waist, and then the full length of the blouse, I'll use 24 because the back and the front is going to be the same. Okay, so when I am done, I'm just going to connect all of this together like this, okay? So you can see what I am doing. I hope the lines are a little bit clear enough. So I'll just mark them this way. So now let's go straight to the front and to the back piece. Let's go fast, a little bit fast. So the first thing we're going to do, let's mark our shoulder. So we'll use a shoulder measurement of 14 and then we'll add half of an inch. So by the way, these are the measurement that I'm going to use. Our bust, we're going to use 40 inches. Let's do a bigger bust. And then our under bust, we're going to use 34. And then the waist is going to be 36. And then our hem is going to be 40. So these are all the measurements that we're going to use, okay? So from this point, we're going to come by 1 inch. For those of you that don't know, it is called our shoulder slope line. So you connect it to that line. So this line, this is our shoulder line, and then this is our bust point, our under bust, our waist, and then this last line here is the hem. Thank you so much, those of you that are giving me likes, love. Thank you so much. Just drop your name, let me know where you're watching me from. When I am done, I am going to greet you all specially. Okay, so our armhole, I'm using 16 for my armhole. So when I divide 16 into 2, I'm going to have 8 inches. How did I get the armhole? Armhole, to get your armhole, you are going to divide your bust circumference into 6 and then you add 1.5. So that will give me 1.5, okay? So the next thing I am going to do here, I'm going to take the midpoint of this place, and then taking that midpoint, I'm just going to connect this midpoint. I'll just mark it this way. So this will give me my arm hole, just to form a beautiful armhole. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to mark our full body measurement. Thank you so much, those of you that are joining. Any Deborah, you push Victoria, you push, you just keep dropping your name, where you're watching me from. When I am done, I'm going to greet you all for joining my tutorial. Greet you all, especially give you guys shout out, okay? All right, so now let's do our bust circumference. Like we said, we're using 40, so you divide 40 into 4, that's 10 inches. So we're going to use 1 inch for our dart. You add that 1 inch, and then your stitching allowance, you can use 2 inches, okay? So you add that, and then you come to the under bust line, okay? So when you come to the under bust line, you are going to use our under bust measurement, which is 34. So 34 divided by 4, we're going to mark it there, and then you add our dart of 1 inch intake, and then we'll add our stitching allowance, okay? And then we'll come to our waist. For the waist, we're using 36. 36 divided by 4, we have 9 inches. 1 inch for our dart, and then our stitching allowance. So like I said, stitching allowance, we could use 2 inches. And then for the hem, which is very important, we're going to use 40 inches, divide by 4 or mark it, and then I'm going to add my stitching allowance. So for the down part, I'll add 3 inches stitching allowance. Why? Because if you notice, you see that the hem is a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to connect all of these lines now. I'll connect them together like this. Okay, so this is for my back pattern. So I just have to use my pen like this to so that it will be visible. Okay, so you can see, so this is all. And then the next thing, we're going to take out our dart. Okay, so for the dart, I'll use a bust pan of 4.5 inches. So that 4.5 inches, I'm going to mark it across all of these lines. Okay, and then mark it this way, and then I'll connect it with a straight ruler. So when I connect it to this with my ruler, the next thing, I'm going to take out the dart. So like I said, we're using just 1 inch dart. I'll take half inch to my right and to my left from my waist line. And then from that point, I'm going to connect it to that bust line. So, but if you notice, you see that I did not take out anything from the bust line. I just blended it into that part like that. Okay, so you can see what I did. The next thing we are going to do at this point now, so for my dart, I don't want my dart hanging like this. So what I'm going to do, I want to take it to the shoulder. So from this point, we're going to take out our neckline, which is 3.5 inches for the width. And then for the back neckline, we can do 3 by 2, because if you notice, it is a small neckline. So the front is going to be 3 by 3. So from that point, I'm just going to connect the neckline like this. So when I connect the neckline, the next thing I'm going to do, my dart, I'm just going to run the line. Do you understand? I'm not taking out anything. I'll just run it straight to the top point. So this is how it is going to look like. So when I'm done, I'm going to cut this out. So let's just cut. If you notice, I've not added the style line. So like I said, I'm going to add, when I'm cutting the style line for the hem, I will need the two together. That's, I'll use the back and the front. Okay, so I don't want to cut out the back yet. I'll place them on each other and then cut them out. Okay, so let me on this line. Okay, where is the line bending? Okay, so this is our back piece. So now I'm going to keep the back piece. Thank you so much, those of you that are giving me star. Thank you, Fatu Mata. Thank you so much. So the next thing we're going to do now, let's work on our front piece. Okay, so for the front piece, I'm going to use a double pattern paper. Okay, so that we'll be able to see it, so that when we open it, we'll see it to know if we got it or not. So like I said, the beauty of making use of a pattern is, even before you transfer to your fabric, you are going to see it. You understand? So that's the beauty of making use of a pattern. You see it on ground and know if this pattern is going to work or if it is not going to work. If you have to change it, you will know. Okay, so the next thing, that's our shoulder line. We'll mark our bust points 10, our under bust 13, the waist we're making use of 16, and then I am going to use a length of 24. So for the back length, I'm going to add a side dart to this. I'm going to add a side dart. So I'll just add it, but I did not make the provision. So I'll just show you how to add it, but I'll not cut it out. Okay. So I'm just marking all of these lines like this. I'm connecting them with my straight ruler piece. So when I connect them like this, the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to come to this point. I'll mark my shoulder line. So the shoulder is 7 like we did before, and then we'll mark, add just 1 inch allowance, and then we're going to use, from that point we'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope, okay, just like what we did with our back piece, and then we'll connect it. So if you have questions, drop your questions, like the video, I would appreciate, okay, so that other people can see. Drop a comment, let me know where you're watching me from. So from this point we are going to come down by 8 inch. So that 8 inches is our, for our armhole. So we'll connect it like this one. When we draw the line like this, and then we'll connect it, okay. So this line now is going to serve as my chest line, bust line, under bust, waist, and then the last line is our hem line, okay. So the next thing we're going to do, from this point I'm going to take half of what I have here, and then I'll come in by like 1/4 inch, okay. So when I come in by 1/4 inch, I am going to connect that line like this, because I came out for the armhole. I'll connect it that way, and then I'm going to place my pattern cuff. Can you see the way I'm placing my pattern cuff? So I'll hit from this point and then hit this point, okay. That is for my armhole. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do after this, we're going to start taking out our bodies now, okay. So for the bodies, we're going to use our bust span of 4.5 inches. Remember, that was what we did with our back piece. So that 4.5, we're going to mark it across all of our lines, okay. Can you see? So we mark it across all of our lines like this, okay. So this line that is our chest line, we can extend that chest line, we can just extend it also, and then connect all of these lines together with our pen, this way. So when we connect it, after connecting everything, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take out our, we're going to create our bustier pattern, okay. So it is a, so for this we're just going to do a very simple bustier pattern. So for that we're going to come to our under bust circumference here, and then we're going to use 2.5 inches, or we could do 2 inches. Yes, we could do 2 inches. So this kind of bustier is not bustier that protrudes out so much, even though the bust is 40. So these are the dimensions. The bust is 40, our under bust is 34, the waist is 36, and then the hem is 40, okay. So even though the bust is a bigger bust, but we are just going to use 2 inches. So from this point I'm going to connect that bust round, the round part of my bust. I am going to hit it to that point. So you can see I'm trying to place my pattern curve. Can you see? So connect it that way. So after connecting it that way, so for the down part I'm going to use 1.5 inch at the down part of the hem. So you notice I did not use the same 2 inches I used for the bust, or that. Yeah, so from this point I'm going to mark this down. Okay, so when I mark it down, the next thing I am going to do, so this, I'm just going to create my curve nicely. So I'll just like, can you see what I'm doing? You see the way I use my hand now to blend, this, so it is well blended. I'm going to connect it to the shoulder. So before then we'll take out our neckline. So for the neckline I'm going to do 3.5 inches, that like we did for the back pattern, and then we'll do 3.5 by 3 inches, okay. If you notice, that dress is actually a high neckline, and then from that point we're going to connect it like this. Can you see? So when we connect it, the next thing I am going to do now, I want to take this, that I want to take it to the shoulder line. I'm going to just mark it here like this. I'll get the midpoint, and then I'm going to connect that like this, okay. So can you see? So when I connect it, you see how beautiful and easy this looks. So the next thing, we're going to take out our full body measurement, okay. So like I said, if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Please drop where you're watching me from, I would appreciate. So when I'm done, I'm going to call your name out and greet you specially. So just drop your name, let me know where you're watching me from, say hi, say hello, give this video a thumbs up, like the video. So like I said, I'm going to greet you all, okay. So the next thing we're going to do now, let's take out our full body measurement for our bodies. So we'll take our bust measurement, which is 10 inches. So that's 40 inches. So we're just marking it. So I'll just mark it here at this bust line. And then I'm going to add my 2 inches for my dart. And then I'll add my stitching allowance. Okay. So I'll mark it that way, and then I'll come to my under bust circumference, which is 34, and then I'm going to mark it this way, and then I'll add my 2 inches of my dart intake. I'll bring that back into my pattern, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. Okay, and then so stitching allowance, two I'm using 2 inches, okay? So I'm going to come to my waistline. My waist is 36. I'll mark 36. I'm going to check here. So at this point, it's still 2 inches. So I'll bring that back into this pattern, and then I am going to add. So for the waist part, I'm using 3 inches, the waist and the hem. Why? Because that part is a little bit open, okay? So I'll come to the hem. I'm using the same 40 inches for my dart. And then the dart intake, sorry, for my measurement, 40 inches for the down. The dart intake is 1.5. I'll mark the 1.5 here. And then I am going to add my stitching allowance, okay? So when I am done with all of these lines, I'm going to connect all of these lines together like this. So, and then I'll connect this way. So when I connect it this way, the next thing, this armhole, I'm going to blend my armhole line, okay? So I'm just going to blend my armhole line this way. So after blending my armhole line, so like I said, the dart, I actually did not make provision for that, but I'm just going to show you how to cut it anyway. So I'm going to come to this point, I'll mark the midpoint between my under bust and the difference between my under bust, that's the midpoint between my under bust and the waist, and the bust point, the difference between the under bust and the bust point. So I'll mark it there. So that's for my side dart. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to create out our style line, okay? So in creating out this style line, so I'm going to open my picture. I want to take a good look at it, okay? So that style line, we have an inverted hem. So that inverted hem is going to come like this, and then it comes like this. So it's a simple process. Let's use our pencil first, okay? So in order that we do not chop some dodo. So now I'm going to come to this center part because the business is in this center. Okay, so from this center part, can you see what I am doing? So let me just, let me shift it. So I'm going to come up by 3 inches. So let's do 3 inches or 4 inches. Let's do 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches here. So once I mark my 4 inches here, I keep taking a look at my and then from this point, remember this is our dart line, okay? So I'm going to take it here. So what I want to do now to create out that style line, that's this drop that we have here at the edge. It's not going to, if you notice, it did not get to the side. So this is the side of the blouse. You can see the drop did not get to, it is not on the dart line, and yet it is not here. So you are the one that is going to determine that. So what I'm going to do from this point, I'm going to measure like 4 inches. As I'll come in by 4 inches here. So once I come in by 4 inches, remember the 4 inches, I went up by 4 inches here, and then I came in by 4 inches here. So from this point, I'm just going to create a curve like this. Can you see what I am doing? I'll create a curve like this. So I'm just using my hand like this just to mark this. Okay. So it drops here. So once it drops here, the next thing I am going to do from the hem, I'm going to come in. That's from my hem. I'm going to come up. That is from this hem like this now. I'm going to create a curve like this down. So I'm just using my hand to draw it first before I'll take the exact dimension, okay? So what I have here is about 2 inches. So I'm going to come up by like 3 inches. So let's see, let's do 3 inches. So this is 3 inches. So from that point, I'm going to mark this. So now, after all of this, I can use my curve now. So what I have, I think, is okay. So I can now use my curve to define everything the way I want it. Okay. So I'll cut that out. So can you see what we did? So now let's use our marker now to highlight all of this, everything that we did. So can you see? I'll just mark it this way. So that was why I was telling you that it is good, it is better cut your you cut your pattern together. That's your back pattern and the front pattern. Cut it together. So in order for you to have a distinct curve. Okay. So when you use pattern, if what you do is not what you did is not okay, you can always. So now the first thing, let me cut this out first. Okay. I just want to cut out the side so you can see how easy this is. So I'm going to get my back pattern. So this is my back pattern. Remember the back pattern, I've not cut it out. So I'm going to place it like this. Can you see? In order for me to be able to cut it so that everything will be perfect. So I'm going to cut the hem first before I cut out my pattern. Okay. So I'm going to cut this like this, and then I am going to cut. Can you see? You see that it came out. So this is our back. Can you see our back pattern? You can see that it looks like the picture, right? So you can see it already. So place them together to cut. So that will help you. And then so after that, you can now cut out the dart. So let's cut out the front piece now. So after cutting that, after you're done with that, so you can now go ahead and cut out your pattern. So like I said, for the sides that I am not cutting it out because I did not make provisions for it in my pattern. So there's another way that you can do this. You can finish stitching. That's you can stitch the sides and then you decide to create the style line. So that is still okay. So if I'm sewing this piece, that is what I will do. That is what I will do. So you can see what we have here. So at the end of the day, this is how it looks like. So can you see? You see the side. So for this side, you could even come in more. I used 4 inches, so you can come in. So you can come in with like 5 inches if you want it to be put together more. Okay, so you can do that. So other than that, this is everything for this beautiful inverted bustier. So now let me greet all of my people, especially let me greet everybody, especially those of you that tuned in today. God bless you all. Wow, so much comments. Thank you. Wow, this is beautiful. So you guys should give this video a thumbs up. Deborah, you are the first person. Thank you so much, Deborah Kwaye from Ghana. Hey, I wish I have drum. I would have been beating drum for you people. Thank you so much, Carol Mishuron. Thank you. Said hi. Bianca Sequira. Thank you so much. Good evening. John Glory. Good evening. Juliet Oyi. Good evening, ma. That's what she said. Thank you so much, Oyi. Good. Thank you. Good Dorcas. Oh, wow, Dorcas. Thank you so much. Dorcas has been a really good supporter. I noticed her. Thank you. Juliet Oyi. She said hi. Wow. Thank you so much. Loretta Owiriwa. Good evening. Wow, that's beautiful. Veronica Jo Kalu said hi. Loretta Owiriwa again say hi. Yes, so Loretta. Deborah Kwaye say hi. Wow, thank you so much. Any good evening. Gift Caroline. Wow, Gift Caroline. Thank you so much for joining. Bianca Sequeria. Wish these were subtitles in Portuguese. Oh, so sorry about that. John Glory said hi. Anyango Dorcas, the like is too small. You guys should like. Thank you so much, Dorcas. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fatu Mata for Fana. Thank you so much. For Fana. Thank you. Said hi. Fatumata for Fana. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fatumata for Fana. Oh, thank you so much. You see, I know good Dorcas. The like is small. You guys should like. Thank you so much, Dorcas. Thank you so much for telling them. You have heard. Bianca Albertica, say hi. Eddie Dong Eshiat, good evening. Eddie Dong, say hey. Informer Sandra, I'm watching from Lagos. Wow, Informer Sandra, say hello. Veronica Jokalu, hi. I am watching from Owerri. Wow. Caroline Mishiron, Yokaro from Benin. Wow. Ayongo Dorcas, you guys should like. Oh, thank you so much. Or keep telling them. Thank you so much, Dorcas. God bless you. Bless you greatly. John Glory, watching from Ogun State. Comfort, say hi. Informer Sandra, hello ma, please. How to remove zip in the back of a dress. We'll do that some other time, okay? Don't worry. Most times I used to do that, but most time when anytime I'm making a straight gown, I'm cutting it. It's a simple process. It's a very simple process. I'll show you in another video, okay? Don't worry. I'll show you. Another when I come up for next live stream, I'm going to I pray I remember. That's always the issue. At times, after here now, I will not even remember again because the things are so much. So anytime I'm making a pattern, and if you are here on the class, please just remember to the pattern, okay? I'll just add it is a simple process, okay? And young good Dorcas, thank you so much, ma. We love you. I love you all too. Bye. God bless you all for watching. Bye. So by the way, let me turn my camera. So this skirt, I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. Can you guys see? See this beautiful skirt. So it's going to be our tutorial for tomorrow.